Hey guys, so I've had questions about importing items to Ghana when you're getting ready to make that move from the US or from the UK or wherever to Ghana. Should you import your items? Should you just sell your items? Let's discuss the options when I return on the Eric McNeil Be Free Show.
Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is the Eric McNeil Be Free Show, where we discuss financial independence, being responsible for self, enjoying life, and empowering others free. So on this episode, let's talk about importing your items. So once you decide that you want to move to Ghana, then you have all these items that you want to import, and we're going to discuss that today in detail. Now I've got a device here I want to show you. This is an M-Audio sound card that converts the microphone to USB so you can connect it to your computer. And the reason I'm showing you this device is because when I first moved to Ghana in 2016, I had most of my items, well, a lot of my items, I imported them over, and among those items was this device. This is not, well, we'll discuss whether it's the same device or not, but I had the same model device when I imported my items, and I had some other electronics, very expensive, high-end microphones, camera items, iPod, some very expensive items that I had imported over here. And many of those items were stolen, right? So, and among the stolen items was this. Now I bring this up because maybe about a couple months ago I needed to begin doing some recording for an online course that I was putting together. So I recall that this device, it was very simple, it worked well. So I said I'll go online and find the same device and repurchase it. So that's what I did. So I found the guy online, and the best place to go for used stuff here is GGJIJI.com.gh. That's gg.com.gh, and you do price comparisons on what used stuff costs. There's a few other sites that people use, but it seems that GG is probably going to be the most popular site if you need to research to purchase used items. But anyway, I went on GG and I found someone selling this item, and we arranged to meet at Accra Mall so that I could pick it up. And I don't recall the exact price of the item, but it's probably around anywhere between $500 and $600. So roughly in US dollars, it would have been about maybe a little over $100. So when I met the guy, very nice guy, and he had said that he left work and he needed to get back to work, because they didn't realize that he was gone, and he just wanted to get me this item so he can get back to work. So I said, okay, well, I appreciate that. Then I asked him, where do you work at? He said, oh, I work over there in the Tema area, and at the ports. And I said, okay. And so when I left, or when he left, and and I started I got on the Trocho and I'm on my way home, I started thinking about what he just told me. And he just told me he worked at the port, so where he's working is in customs. Basically, where the ships come in and they check in the stuff. So I couldn't do nothing but laugh because I had just realized that I probably just purchased my own device back. See, he's working there and they're stealing this stuff off the ships and then they're selling this stuff. Right, and that's how it works. So I couldn't do nothing but chuckle because I probably just purchased my own device back. I don't know. It's been a long time ago since I had this stuff imported, but it's actually sad, but it's comical. But that's what you're dealing with if you're going to import stuff here. Lots of stuff gets stolen coming through those ports. So my suggestion is that unless it's sentimental to you, sell it. Sell it. If I had to do it all over again, I would have sold virtually everything with the exception of my books, right? Those things, I have a nice library, things that I don't share them, I don't loan them, right, when it comes to my books. And then, I have like things like, trophies and things like that are more sentimental. They don't really have any, monetary value. Those types of things, okay, yes. You have those imported, and nobody's looking to steal that kind of stuff. But everything else, I would suggest just selling it and then purchasing the stuff here, right? Because you can find virtually everything that you need. So that's my advice. If I had it to do all over again, that's what I would have done. I imported just a lot of stuff, a lot of expensive items, like I say, that were stolen. And I imported 2 vehicles when I came here, 2 Nissan vehicles. One was, I believe, a Nissan Frontier, and one was the Nissan Titan, right? And the plan was, maybe to drive one and then sell the other and, make some money from it. But here's the deal, and when we're talking about importing vehicles, the vehicles, they're gonna hit you up so hard on duties when you import a vehicle. And it's so convoluted that, they don't really clearly tell you how much the duties are gonna be. Now recently they created this vehicle duties calculator online so that you can go in online and see just how much the duties are gonna be. But the funny thing is that calculator has been, that site has been down for months. It's like how you just take the site down for months. Oh, there's an error, right? But short of that, you're going to, let me tell you how they work it when you import these vehicles. You import a vehicle because you think, that you're going to save money. And what they do is they say, well, we're going to charge you based on the original purchase price. And depending on how old the vehicle, we might depreciate that original purchase price, by 15%, by 30%, by 40%, up to 50%. So they're depreciating. So they're taking the original value. So you have this vehicle that might be worth $5,000 now, but the original value on that vehicle may have been $70,000 or $80,000. And they said, well, it's a 8-year-old vehicle, so we're going to depreciate it by 50%. So instead of $80,000, we're going to tax you based on the vehicle being worth $40,000. And we want roughly, and by the time you add up all these various duties and tax and VAT and NHIL and this and that, then you might be talking 35-40% of the current value, and the current value that they're basing it on is 50% of the retail value. So when it comes down to it, you have a vehicle that may only be worth $5,000, but now you got to go out and pay $7,000 on taxes for that vehicle to get it out of customs. And a lot of people come here with vehicles, you know, they have vehicles imported, and then they go down to the place to get their vehicle, and the duties are so much they have to leave the vehicle. They can't afford to get the vehicle out, and if you can't get the vehicle out for like after 30 days, they end up auctioning the vehicle off. And so I'm telling you, you know, just to avoid that, I mean, when I went down there and they told me how much those two vehicles were gonna cost, boy, I was like, whew. You know, I was like, I want to see the manager, I want to see his manager, I want to see, so, you know, they gave me the song and dance. I saw a couple managers, but still, at the end of the day, I had to pay those duties. If I didn't have that money, I would have been jacked up, and I could see how people get swept up in that. And, you know, the vehicle that I thought I was just going to sell and make some money, I end up losing money on that, because what happens is that if you're trying to compete, you know, and sell items here, like vehicles, well, the people who are doing that on a regular basis, they have contacts inside, and those contacts are able to ensure that they can get their items in for a lower duty rate. So you can't compete with that if you don't have connects inside. So yeah, so that was a losing proposition for me, and then I ended up selling both vehicles, because, you know, even the fuel price, you know, you driving trucks, fuel price is so high, and so I ended up selling both of those vehicles, and that was before I purchased the land in the mountains. And, you know, when I ended up selling those vehicles, I purchased another vehicle here, another Nissan Juke here, which is a four-wheel drive, but great on gas. But then I purchased the land in the mountain, and I needed a truck again. So it's funny how that works. But yeah, that was my story on importing. Now let me say this, is that first of all, if you're going to import, if you decide that, hey, I just need to import my stuff anyway I want to import, well, a couple tips if you're going to do it. And you know, I found out this afterwards, right? Because when I arranged to have my stuff imported, I didn't necessarily know that you had to have a clearing agent. And so you can't get your stuff out without a clearing agent. It has to be a registered clearing agent in Ghana you have to use to get your stuff. And so, so if you're going to import, you have your clearing agent well in advance, right? And you, when you're working with the company that's going to ship your stuff from the US or the UK, you tell them you want door-to-door service. That means you want your stuff delivered from your home address in the UK or the US or wherever to your home address here in Ghana, right? That way they take care of everything. Because what happens is, if you don't get door-to-door service and you don't have your stuff cleared before the stuff comes into Ghana, then what happens is they take it from the ship and they put it in a warehouse, and that's where they get you. when that stuff has to go to the warehouse, they start stealing it. So if your stuff is already cleared when it comes off that, when the ship comes in with your items, if the stuff is already cleared, then the clearing agent will already have their people on standby. And as soon as the ships dock and they start releasing the stuff, the clearing agent goes on to the ship to get your stuff, and it comes right off into their trucks. So it never gets into the hand of the people there at customs working in these warehouses that's stealing this stuff. So that's what you need to do. You need to make sure your stuff is cleared well in advance of those ships docking, and you need to get door-to-door service so that they know it's supposed to go directly to your home. So you don't have to worry about, there's little chance of your stuff being stolen at that point. Now, another thing is that if you're shipping items, usually, you don't want those items looking new. And I had items in there that were still in the box, right? So it's obvious that this is a new item. And those are the first items they grab, right? Because they can easily sell those. It's still in the box, still shrink wrapped. So they just, boom, they were easy targets. So, and then some items, because, I was sending so much stuff over here, some of my items I took out the box and just wrapped up in paper, and I noticed that those items didn't get stolen, right? Because they didn't look new. So if the item looks new, it's a likelihood that it's going to get stolen. It's in the box, it's shrink wrapped. So it's like, boom, that's a new item, let me grab it. And so these are just some tips that if you do decide that you want to ship your stuff over, then you just keep this stuff in mind. But my suggestion is you sell everything as much as possible, and then you just buy stuff over here. Just repurchase it, right? Because at the end of the day, the likelihood of you saving some money is next to nothing, right? I'm just going to be honest with you. You're not likely to save anything by shipping stuff over here. It's just cheaper to just sell it and rebuy it. So that's my take on all of the importing, especially when it comes to vehicles. Man, I'm telling you, if you're not careful when you ship that vehicle over here, and they come up and be talking about thousands and thousands of dollars, then you don't have it, you end up losing your vehicle. Simple as that. You end up losing it. So don't let that happen to you. Plan well in advance, understand, and just have that minimalist attitude about yourself, that hey, I'm going into this thing, selling everything, I start over there, and I'll make it, right? All right, anyway, that's all I have for you today. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like, share, comment. Give me your feedback if you've had things shipped over here and what kind of experience you had, and what are your suggestions and tips, and I'll be glad to share those as well. Also, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Eric McNeil. It's free. And as always, hoorah, ahuru. Now be free.